All right, I need everybody to go on Rumble right now and follow my page so you don't miss out on any videos or live streams. Anytime I share the links on X, they get hidden due to the fact that we are no longer allowed to post external links on X that get broadcasted out to everybody. So even if you have your notifications on X, you might not get it. So follow, turn the notifications on. That way you don't miss any of the free content I'm putting out here in the future. All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another weekly prep. You obviously have noticed if you're watching this right now that the times have changed. So Sunday nights are a little bit more difficult to get to. So I got to either do it Friday night or Saturday morning. And this week we're going with the Saturday morning start. So if you're watching it, Sunday night, like normal time, that's fine. I just want to make sure I get it out because last week I wasn't able to do so. So if you haven't already, please like the stream, whether you're on X, Rumble, YouTube, whatever. Drop a like on here, comment, let me know if you enjoy these or whatever. I hated to have to cut out of ICT's Shotgun Saturday because the amount of stuff that you could pick up from that is I don't know. There's really no words to say it because it seems as though, and I don't want to sound like I'm totally gassing or anything like that, but it seems like whatever you're going through at that moment, he knows, and he's echoing what you're going through and how you can kind of combat that, especially psychologically. I know he doesn't really touch on the stocks as much. It's mostly futures. But if he wanted to, he could do that as well. But, if you haven't listened to that, I urge you to go back and listen. I'm sure it's recorded, but I got a funny story about that, actually. So this was, 2 years ago. I was in California. I had to go to a wedding later on in the day, and I woke up really early and went out and, I forget, I got like breakfast or something. And then I saw that he was live with one of his Shotgun Saturdays. And it was a time where, things were going pretty well, but, there were still more hiccups than you'd want. And I just felt like the whole thing was targeted at me. There's 3,000 people listening, but it was just directly. It seemed as though it was directed at me, even though I've never spoken to him in my life, But, I ended up staying in the car the entire, 3 hours that he ran it and led right into the wedding. So I didn't even go back to the place I was staying. But I think those could be really valuable to anyone who's working that psychological end. You might have that strategy in place, or you might have that model that has shown in the past that, this can work. Now you got to work out the kinks in terms of execution. And that's always, to me, at least, the hardest part. But when you get to a point where it becomes seamless, you're not stressing and sweating things out, I think you will get, you'll start to see the results, and I think you'll start to see them pretty quickly as well. So anyways, with all that being said, I have a list of names that I want to go through. I'm going to take requests. I posted it on X. Just post it, if you have one. I know some people use the chat. That's fine. I just don't want them to get lost if things do get active in there. So if you would, just post them on Twitter. I posted something about I'll do the next 10 minutes, but if you're in here listening, I'll do it for you anyways if they come in now. But I just don't want them to get lost. So I got a bunch of names we'll roll through, and then we'll get it rolling. So, all right, let's go. Here it is. Let me pull up and share my screen. And we'll go through the indices first. So here it is. All right. So first things first, I'll leave this up, but I'm coming on over. I know what they are, but I'll echo it to you. Let's look at the economic calendar for the week. I know on Wednesday we have FOMC, which, as you all know by now, I'm sure, is a pretty hectic afternoon. So let's just see. On Monday we have, the beauty of the website that I look at, Forex Factory, for this economic calendar is they kind of label them with how they, previously have reacted to specific news drops and everything like that. And again, I say it every time, I'll say it again. I don't really care what the number is that comes out. It's just knowing what time that occurs is important to me. I don't want to be caught in a trade before that happens due to the volatility. I could be correct in terms of my overall direction, but if you get that first type of manipulative move down towards liquidity and you're long, you're probably going to get stopped out before it ultimately goes the direction you want it to go. So I tend to avoid trading or trying to front run those data drops, and oftentimes that initial move will kind of clear things up for you in the process. So but anyways, they're labeled as yellow, orange, or red folder events, red being the highest impact in terms of that data drop, and yellow being the lowest, right? So on Monday, we have an orange folder at 8:30, which is the Empire State Manufacturing Index. I don't really have too much, off the top of my head in terms of how I've seen that play out all that much. So I'll take their word for that orange folder. But you come on over to Tuesday with retail sales. That's red folder event. That's high impact data. That's at 8:30 a.m. on Tuesday. Scrolling down to Wednesday, we have obviously FOMC, and we have an FOMC, the presser at 2:30 as well. So that's coming 2 and 2:30 on Wednesday. Thursday, we have unemployment claims in the morning, and that is all for and then an orange folder, existing home sales on Thursday at 10 a.m. Leads us into Friday, where on Friday we have no red folder. Okay, so at 2 p.m. on Friday, FOMC member Harkin speaks, orange folder. So I'm usually pretty much done by then on Friday anyway. So, but that's what we got going into the week. Let's come back over here and let's take a look. So what we got was a really nice move. And from the beginning of last week, our first time we spoke was on Tuesday. The first objective really was to prevent a weekly imbalance from forming. And your weekly imbalance would have formed at 19,140. So in fact, by not going to that 19,140, you're preventing that weekly imbalance from forming, which is very encouraging for the bulls. The only difference that you're really seeing here is that you say, oh, this is really gross and sloppy. And I would totally agree with you. We just have some divergence between the two indices that, I'm really putting a focal point on here between NASDAQ and ES. So if you come on over to ES, you'll notice how perfect this is in comparison to what you have on NASDAQ, right? So what is this telling me is that ES is much stronger than NASDAQ at the moment, okay? You got that perfect retracement back down into a bullish imbalance. And if you were to just map out your, little range here, just on that most recent price run, you'll notice tagged right off 50% inside, not only a bullish imbalance, but also you have a inversion, previous bearish imbalance that has flipped bullish clearly, right? So in addition to that, you'll also notice that with ES or SPY versus what you see here on NASDAQ is well off all-time highs still at this point, right? We're about, 1,400 points off that all-time high with our massive untouched imbalance in the mix, okay, which I would deem showtime, right? At that point, I'm expecting SMT divergence, meaning when we get up into showtime on NASDAQ, I'm fully expecting SPY to be at all-time highs, right? We're close enough as it is, and there's no imbalance holding us back at this point. So at that point, I'm going to be a little bit more hands-off. I need a little bit more information. If we were to create that imbalance move up and through previous all-time high here on SPY, at that point, I'd feel pretty good about us getting a continuation move and leveling the playing field and getting NASDAQ back up to those all-time highs as well. But at that point, could we sweep liquidity on SPY, get into the showtime imbalance on NASDAQ, and retrace a little bit further down into maybe a imbalance that is created in the process of getting up there? Sure. That's a possibility. So at that point, that's why I have it labeled showtime. That's just an area in which I really need some more information to kind of help me sort things out at that point. But on the flip side of that, we've gotten our discount retracement on our bigger time frame, bigger picture here. We got our bullish imbalance. We also turtle soup this low. Look how perfect that is. That's crazy, right? Perfect sweep of that low. And so far, so good. Think about all those people who just say like support, resistance, right? They're getting smoked, right? They're probably looking for this to in their longs, and once that gives up, they're probably getting out, when in reality that's us scooping liquidity in order to drive price. And this was just really a nice move off those lows. So at this point, that's kind of where I'm at. I do fully anticipate showtime, and I do fully anticipate all-time highs here on ES. If we were to break it down into the smaller time frames, just because everything is fractal, I would not be shocked with a Monday, Tuesday, a little bit of a retracement. Reason being, we filled up our last daily imbalance here. Okay, look how perfect. Boom. Nasdaq's even more perfect. Boom. So from this point, we do have an imbalance that formed about 100 points lower on Nasdaq. ES, we have an imbalance formed. Let me mark it out for you guys here. Right there. Okay, that's at what is that? 26 and 3, 29 points lower on ES. So over the first 2 days, I wouldn't be totally shocked to see us get down into that bullish imbalance prior to we have these highs up here that are itching to get smacked. That's about 50 points higher. So something similar to this to go into next week would not kind of surprised me whatsoever. So that's kind of where I'm at with ES. Nasdaq, very similar. We are creating imbalances through a previous imbalance, which is encouraging for the bulls. And on Nasdaq, you have relative equal highs up here at 20,025 and 20,084. That leads you right into that showtime imbalance. So all things lining up, looks pretty good. My biggest or my next level of uncertainty really would be what happens when Nasdaq gets into that weekly imbalance. What happens when ES gets to that all-time high? So that is just a brief breakdown on the indices right there. If anybody has any questions about that, feel free to drop them in the comments here. I'll get to it. So that's the big picture. Now we'll slide it down into a little bit of a more specific individual name breakdown. So the first name that I want to look at is one that, I've been on for a while. I want to keep, bringing light to it, is Tesla. So I'm going to show you guys where this idea really stemmed from off the rip. So, this dates back obviously all the way to January. But the idea here was just, usually when the year turns, that's when I really start to zone in and look at some of these yearly setups, right? And I had noticed that we'd gotten into a discount bullish imbalance on the yearly time frame for Tesla, right? So, of course, using a yearly time frame, could it, kind of structure an idea and build an overall thesis? Absolutely. And that's really the way that I looked at it. Now, using the yearly time frame to trade weekly contracts is probably not the best idea. But the way that I had this idea structured was that if I'm looking for higher prices on Tesla, which ultimately I am, I'd like to see it break those all-time highs again following this discount retracement into a bullish imbalance to go complete my model up at 414.50. Now, notice how we just have a bearish order block here. We don't have any imbalances, which is good on a yearly time frame. But this kind of structured the idea. So throughout the year, having that bullish bias, of course, there were stretches where Tesla was not looking all that great, right? But to have that overarching picture for a long-term perspective, right? This is what I look at as like a share swing or, much farther out. But using this to kind of paint the I guess what's the foundation of the picture, or the first base coat of a painting or something. This is where it's coming from, and then from there, that's when I slide it down into time frame by time frame, where I would go look at my monthly time frame. Even if you were to look at a quarterly time frame, you actually get a little bit more information using that, where you have a quarterly fair value gap or bullish imbalance here that price gets into and thus far gets out of. Okay, so following that quarterly, you could drop down to your monthly. You see, beautiful thus far, a bunch of relative equal highs. This is what stands out to me right now. Okay, you have equal high here, 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 here. Why are they equal highs? You might say it's 271 and 314. That's not even close. The idea behind that is just that there's no imbalances in between on the specific time frame that we're looking at. So right here would be the monthly time frame. There's no imbalances on this time frame. So I'm really not expecting it to reject following sweeping that liquidity. Okay. And that's currently where we're at. We're starting to finally poke our head outside of this monthly bearish imbalance, right? So you'll even remember, for those of you who join all the time, and if you don't, you could probably just go back to one of our live weekly preps from, I don't know, maybe July, and just see my comments regarding this imbalance here. I was really sketched out about this when we got that move higher here, and the reason for that was, yes, I'm so glad, and ultimately, we can justify that move where we reject the rejecting. We swept liquidity here, but by getting that high wick out of this imbalance, I really needed to see it like convincingly close above that imbalance in order for me to feel good about us not retracing whatsoever inside that monthly, perspective. This is not the only time that I've seen price yanked back into this imbalance. If you look at something like this one always sticks out to me because this one's crazy. SMCI. So if you take a look at SMCI over here back from April, May, June, right? You'll notice we created that bearish volume imbalance and look how high out of it we wicked, right? So those wicks giving you the heart attack bodies telling you the story yet again. The wicks ripping from this point. What was the high of this imbalance? 858 to a high of what? Let's see, 1000, right? So the moral of the story here is that without that like convincing close outside of that imbalance, I can't really negate this because obviously you've seen the results since then, right? So going back to Tesla and looking at it from that perspective, bringing it back down and getting back into this imbalance was so encouraging that we've already lifted off from there, already making progress outside of it. And at this point, even on our weekly time frame, our last imbalance that we yanked up to last, or not last week, the week prior, we got into, rejected initially, but right back down into our bullish imbalance and again up and at them. So really this is the last line of defense and there's really not much left working inside that imbalance. And at this point, I look towards cheddar flow and I saw also encouraging flow on this name as well. So a lot of the stars are aligning with Tesla. At this point, we had a bullish volume imbalance. Ideally, we don't go see that again. If that was, if there was a scenario where that would happen, I guess I'd be, happy from a long-term position, but short-term, that would be annoying. But even here, you'll look, we made a daily bullish volume imbalance, but another encouraging thing here on the daily time frame. So as you could see, I'm breaking it down from yearly, monthly, weekly, daily, and this is how I do it with everything that I actually press the button on to trade. Because if it doesn't line up to me, every time I don't have one of these time frames lining up, all that's really making me feel like is that's one piece missing from the puzzle. And it's going to make me feel a little bit less confident. And to me, that's going to lower the probability in which this is actually going to be a success. The only difference here is that we actually have relative equal highs here that look like they're begging to get slapped. That's 234.97 and 234, what is that? 68. In addition to that 235.99. So really low, high, discount retracement, bullish imbalance. And ultimately, my model on Tesla here for a smaller time frame perspective completes at 271. So so far so good. I really like the name. Also, a move above that 235.99 creates a bullish breaker here on the daily time frame. Low, high, lower low, break up and through. We can anticipate the high of that sequence to act as a support level moving forward in confluence with your bullish volume imbalance here. So, obviously Tesla's one that I've been talking about for a while, but slowly but surely they continue to align. So that is Tesla. That's one that I really wanted to talk about because, I've been talking about that one for, really, it's really been a focal point all year, to be honest. So, but that would be Tesla. The second one that I wanted to talk about here would be AMD. So AMD, very similarly, we'll go to higher time frames. Not as pretty on the yearly. I mean, we can look at it just for fun, but you'll notice we already completed my model. Low, high, discount retracement, bullish imbalance, run for highs. Manda model has been completed. Okay, so from this point, we have our low to our high. Okay, so this yearly move did get down into discount. You'll see this on a smaller time frame fractal, but us being at all-time highs is not really all that helpful for us at the moment. At what point does the music stop and the retracement come? I don't believe it's here, but okay, so that would be AMD. Now sliding over to the monthly. Okay, you'll notice right now we got our discounted bullish imbalance. Check. Okay, low, high, discount retracement, bullish imbalance. So far, so good. No imbalances overhead at this point. Very similar to NVIDIA, very similar to ARM. SMCI has much more resistance in the mix. That's why it's one that I'm really not talking about all that much. But in addition to that, you also have a low, high, lower low, break up and through, retracement back down into it. The high of the candle of that sequence, we would anticipate acting as a support. That is a bullish breaker. So far, so good. So a lot of things lining up on AMD's front as well. Another name that I like, and this is something that I'm also in as well. Even on the weekly time frame, very similarly, low to high, discount retracement into your bullish imbalance. Also, you have a mitigation block here on the weekly time frame. So only difference, low, high, higher, low, break up and through. There it is, perfect bounce. And from this point, sloppy, but holding on to a bullish imbalance here, creating a bullish order block. That's really encouraging. So at this point, really, the first test would be up to that 162.04. Beyond that, you're working with the rest of this weekly imbalance. And ultimately, beyond these relative equal highs, let me just confirm 187.24, 187.28. Nope, we took out that high. There it is. Okay. But beyond that 187.28, that creates a bullish breaker here on the weekly time frame. Low, high, lower, low, break up and through. We can anticipate that high acting as a support level moving forward. So not only does NVIDIA, which we can briefly touch on, I'm not really all that interested in that, even though it looks pretty good. But looking at it, AMD in confluence with that, AMD does have a little bit more room to the upside. And then at this point, this is where it gets a little fuzzy. Above this level, it gets really encouraging for the bulls. That's up through 173.20. What is it? 173.22. Yeah. So, and here's just the match of NVIDIA. There's your bearish imbalance, bearish volume imbalance. See how we got into both. There's an area that's a little fuzzy. But bullish order block on the weekly, bullish range, discount, bullish imbalance. So, and relative equal highs above. So, to me, semis are looking pretty good again, finally, after getting absolutely wrecked for a little bit there. Let's do two more, and then we'll go to the rest. What's going on there, Jason? Let's go. I'm going to do these two in tandem. I'll do them paired together with Upstart and Affirm. Also, two names that I've been on for quite a bit here. So, and we'll look at Mara too, because I think we're getting into a really important spot. So, and I know that one I've been on for a while. That's probably my biggest headache of the year. So anyways, here's the firm, low to your high. Here's your discount retracement into a bullish imbalance and a bullish breaker. Lift off, creating a monthly bullish imbalance in the process. Very encouraging thus far. You don't have any imbalance until 83.57, and 50% or discount of your overarching bearish range is up there at 92.73. It's pretty good. The completion of the Mano model here on Affirm completes at 52.48. Bringing it over, we'll go one more time here with the weekly, and then we'll show. Okay, here's your low to your high. Here's your discount retracement into not only a bullish imbalance, but also your mitigation block here. Bang, beautiful. Look at last week. Okay, we rejected from this point, bringing us back down into a low, high, lower low, break up and through, bullish breaker, bullish imbalance. Just beautiful. Relative equal highs here, relative equal highs here. No more weekly imbalances. Affirm. Here's Upstart. Firm looks a little bit cleaner, but at this point, I think Upstart has a little bit more upside. So it's a little bit more, less of less clean, but just due to the fact that its range is absolutely massive, it gives me some hope for a bigger type move. But here's your low to your high. Here's your discount retracement into a monthly bullish imbalance. Lift off thus far. 49.62 completes your smaller time frame Mando model. There is no creation of a monthly bullish imbalance here, right? Do you see the prevention here? So by us going down to 32.78 in the most recent retracement, that prevents that monthly from forming. Not the end of the world, but beyond that 49.62, you have 72.58. That is also looming. That's a higher time frame Mando model completion, which is ready from your low to your high. Here's your discount retracement into a bullish imbalance. So far, so good. So 49.62 will be your first, 72.58 your second. Now, from this point, you'll notice, despite us preventing that monthly bullish imbalance from forming, check this, low, high, discount retracement into a bullish imbalance and low, high, lower low, break up and through, bullish breaker, high of that candle, act as support moving forward. Bing, boom. Only difference, Affirm, again, looks a little cleaner. Upstart created a weekly imbalance that, to me, just a speed bump, but that's in the way, whereas in Affirm, you do not have that. So those are those two. I like to pair them I guess, similar type of sector. But yeah, nice day on Friday as well with the 5% day. So those are those two. Let's look at Mara really quickly. I know, I'm sorry, I'm going through names that I like. Not what you guys like, but I'm never removing that. But anyways, here we are from your low to your high. You got your discount retracement. Now, the thing is, this has just been a total headache. It's taken forever. But nothing has changed throughout the entirety of that, right? I know you got the run to 27. We're still hanging around, but you got into your bullish imbalance. You got into your bullish breaker, low, high, lower, low, break up and through. We would anticipate that acting as a support level moving forward. Now, really, the next step and the step to really change the game, in my opinion, for Mara at this point, we got to see one of these bearish levels get mitigated. This was filled last week and filled pretty perfectly. Okay. So that is also encouraging. This imbalance here has also been tagged only about halfway, but that imbalance has been tagged, right? So there's no unfilled imbalances left. Okay. So at this point, a move above this high here at 1884 gives you the bullish breaker, low, high, lower, low, break up and through. And to me, that's what we need. That's it. That's all I'm waiting for. At that point, this will be completely out of question. And at that point, I'm feeling fantastic. Until then, I'm just tired of the ping pong here. But that's where I'm at with Mara. This also lines up with Coin, which got some pretty fat flow. I just posted it on the thread a little while ago, but from your low to your high, you got your discount retracement into a bullish imbalance. So far, so good. And this is where we currently sit with Coinbase. This one has a few untouched imbalances, but some heavy flow that can take care of some business there. Coinbase, another one where you want to see that high at 211.56 get taken out in order to create that bullish breaker. All right. So that is all the names that I wanted to touch on, at least. Now, let's see. There was a few others that maybe we'll touch on in passing here that I had posted about. But if you want to check those out, I have them up on X. So, all right, time to get into what you guys want to do. Hold on, let me just clean this up for a sec, and I'm pulling up the tweet as well. So, let's see. Yeah. Oh, we can look up Rocket Lab too. Yeah, I love Rocket Lab. I don't know what you're talking about there, Jason. Nah. So if you type in @Mando Trading with the $ RKLB on Twitter, you'll see it $3. That was the when I had tweeted about it. Rocket Lab has been very good to me. I can't trash it right now. RKLB. Yeah. Beauty. All right. So why at 348 did I tweet about it? Swept all-time low, higher time frame liquidity. Go time. And 805 is the draw on liquidity there. 614. Oh, I got to go in the group. Shoot. Somebody remind me. I got to go in the group. And the list of swing targets that I had, Rocket Lab hit mine. I don't think I had cleared that one out. So there's a bunch left, but slowly but surely, one by one will fall. But yeah, Rocket Lab, pretty sweet. So, all right, let's pull up some individuals here. All right. I forgot. I gotta cut this. I'm gonna cut the X and YouTube stream. If you want to come check us out over on rumble.com/Mando Trading, rumble.com/Mando Trading. We'll see you here. All right, I need everybody to go on Rumble right now and follow my page so you don't miss out on any videos or live streams. Anytime I share the links on X, they get hidden due to the fact that we are no longer allowed to post external links on X that get broadcasted out to everybody. So even if you have your notifications on X, you might not get it. So follow, turn the notifications on. That way you don't miss any of the free content I'm putting out here in the future.
We interrupt this program to bring you an important announcement. There was only one man for the job.